mabait ang Holy Angel College. Most beautiful. Next. Yan po, inimbitahan din tayo. UPDEPP Study Center kasi daw nagbibigay din sila ng pera. Gusto nila magbigay din ng pera sa atin. So gusto nila tayo. Uy, yan, hinihintay namin yan. Regular fare, yan. Walang iya. Pilibak sa mga bata, nahihiya talaga. Yan, and then, pag-iilaw, dyan, walang pa naman natin open door. It happens every year. It's something that we celebrate. Ito wala yung iba dito. Meron na pa Miss UP dito. Meron lang natin yung interviewin nila, parang si Miss World, ay si Miss Universe. I mean, it has an advocacy side to it, no? Ang USC, no? Walang pagbabago. Pero mas may distinctive. I like their student council president. Anong pangalan ng student? Si Rice. Rice, nasa ka? Parang maganda. Hindi mo bata. Pagkausap mo, parang 6 years old na kausap mo. Pero malaman na. Well, we had a meeting, alumni meeting, with as the he can be still around because he knows what's happening. That there's an change now. This was courtesy of our governor, who made us eat wonderful food. Influential budaya. Parang hindi na tulong. Papagawa ng dorm, no? So sila na papagawa ng dorm. Sabi ko kay Rosby, dream towards a college. But our story is saying we can skip the college. Graduation, sabi niya sa amin, I like sa program niya. Yun ang sinabi niya. And what in Green City, Clark, wala kaming narinig kasi kung ano ang mangyayari sa because it was quite a beautiful and challenging quartz and all. It was a painful journey, of course. So please help us, okay? So, yun po, our doctors, aside from siya, nagbigay. And of course, Marcola said they will take care of us. Next one. Matthew, the last of the 3 of my middle daughter children assigned to them. Kaya maraming salamat for it. Before this, justify that. Ito po, patuloy po ako ng retirement siya ng ng pera. Maraming salamat po. The new members of the faculty, salamat po all the support everyone. Because it's a journey. And what was the verse you were saying? Maris, ano yung verse na sinasabi? Maris sa'yo nung pinag-sabi. That's it. Never about us. It's always about what God can do. If we only submit ourselves.
Okay, so maraming salamat po, Kamo. Muli isang magpupugay para kayo. Okay, so may konting oras po tayo. May nais pong isa-alang-alang lang po natin na sana taon. Okay, so or laruin mula kay Dr. Hango. So, ito po yung pagkatatak ko. Tayo, sa mas mahalaga po ang mukhang okay po tayo. Sa magpupugay, so, sa pagkatatak ito, pakinggan naman po. Pinakita po ni Dr. Kanina, narito po sa Secretary Lara, siya po search na ito. Siya, ayun po. So, I suggest kung may concern po ang ating mga staff, para sa ating mga stakeholders. Okay, so, ito oras. So, may mapapansin po kayong ang
sa ating lahat. Good morning to everyone. Many years back. Second po yung what are the current strategic UPDEPP. Hindi ko po iniwanan yung PO kasi to this particular camp. Ay yung pagkatapos ng challenges for this area, po nga ipakita yung roadmap which I envision ways forward. So, I will begin from my personal, some people are saying, what is it that takes me to be here today, right now? And I think my answer to that goes back, on a personal level, I was college secretary of the National College of Public Administration in 2000. And as college secretary, ito alam ng ating mga colleagues yan, everything from rumbles to teaching assignments to matters serving as gateway to the institution, dinaanan ko po yan. And until I climbed up. But as college secretary at that time, I was asked for help by this campus to look for faculty who would help teach in UP Pampanga and UP Olongapo. And so I searched at nakita ko po na may mga doctoral students kami, may mga faculty kami, at pwede naman silang, at willing silang tumulong magturo. So, I invited them. Luckily, we got some of them. Yung isa po dyan ay, kasi lumuyang faculty ninyo, si Professor Beto Reyes, who was our doctoral student and my advisee sa doctoral level. So, he's now here. And na-guilty ako, I felt I should also begin for myself. I started to lecture in Olongapo. We joined together every weekend. We started to help build Olongapo, if you can say it, from the rubbles. Nasa labas pa lang po kami ng SPNA. Very, very, parang shaggy, Tapos binigyan, we lobbied, and we were given by then Chairman Payumo a space inside the SPNA. Nakapag-start up, binigyan ng old barracks, which we transformed. We worked very hard to raise money, put up air conditioning units in that building, put up blinds, put up whiteboard pa. Noong time na yun. And everything else is history now. We also saw the growth of probably, at that time, the biggest number of students, graduate students in Olongapo. Noong time na yun, there was a very strong alumni association in Olongapo. We had regular meetings and consultations with our graduate students, with our alumni, and hand in hand, we held hands with them to help campaign, promote UP Olongapo. Within SPNA, karamihan ng students were executives and students and employees of SPNA. Hindi ko po yung pinitawan. Occasionally, even on weekends, I was here. And as we traverse Olongapo, I got to know almost by heart what's also going on in Pampanga. Because Pampanga is Olongapo, Olongapo is Pampanga. Ganun po yung aming treatment. But I must admit that I had not taught in Pampanga itself. Inclination ko po yung mas rural sa Olongapo. So I wanted Olongapo and it's in my heart. The second time I got to Olongapo was when I did a National Maritime Strategic Direction study which involved the SPNA, including Hanjin, and the west coast of the country. It was supported and it was given to us by the National Coast Watch Council of the Office of the President of the Philippines. That was in 2015 and 2016. And the Center for Integrative and Development Studies has a copy of this national study, which is now being used by some of our legislators and which now is being used by the National Coast Watch Council. I loved the support Olongapo gave me in this study, including SPNA authorities. Secondly, moving on, what are the strategic challenges which I see for Olongapo, for Pampanga? Meron po kaming
theory ngayon sa public administration, which is my field, at hinihiram ko po yung konsepto at framework ni Rod Shelders and Vigoda, who talked about territoriality as a framework in grounded planning and in grounded strategizing. Ang tawag ko namin sa public administration dito, if you want to grow, to create a place, administered space is the term for it. Ang puso po ng tinatawag na territoriality framework is that we give importance and the fundamentality and the reckoning of the physical, geographical, and natural resources in a given space. And we put them together side by side with what human resources are capable of. In the characteristics of this region, I find through the research that territoriality includes Pampanga, but it goes beyond Pampanga. It includes Region 3, Central Luzon, and there is tremendous potentials for development and growth. Nasaan po ang UPDEPP at ang UPDPO dito? Very much at the center of this regional territoriality development. Dalawa po itong factors. What we call is, ang tinatawag ko po, the mesoframe. The one smaller than the macro, but bigger than the micro. The mesoframe is the exogenous consideration of the territory. Ang ibig po sabihin dito, tinitingnan natin na ang exogenous factor, which is the push, comes itself from the perspective of the Region 3 development frame, where Central Luzon is the magnet for development, where Pampanga and Central Luzon is planned to be actually already starting to grow to be the seat of national government agencies, to be the seat of the business industry and the hub of development, the industry, to be the growing hub for tourism, which includes culture, population, current development, the hub, the logistical hub. That's why there is the Clark SPNA, the international port, including the Clark Airport. The potential for growth, for development of the culture and the arts intertwined into the promotion of tourism, for livelihood, for living, for the growth of the industry, are all integrated. But not only that, we find that Central Luzon is second to Calabarzon in terms of the number of migrant workers. Calabarzon has 20.9% of the national population's migrant workers. Central Luzon plays second with 12.7%. So many, ang daming umaalis, kulang sa jobs, kulang sa trabaho. Subalit, napakadami na rin merong kakayanan. The drivers of growth in Central Luzon are certainly tourism, arts, culture, agriculture, mineral resources, ICT industry, logistics, and transshipment. And unlike Metro Manila, which is a very synthetic area, Central Luzon has both urban and rural areas. This is a characteristic of the territory that promises and shows already the tremendous potential. In this direction, in 2015, the University of the Philippines had a groundbreaking of the Clark Green City. Pero temporarily nanatili yun doon, but also looking at what UP Pampanga and Olongapo are doing and are progressing. Yung pong micro level, the endogenous consideration, where are we at this point? Nakinig po ako intently doon sa presentation ni Director Grace, and I saw that it's a growing, and I take note of that carefully, it's a small is beautiful, but it's a growing and very increasingly, very fastly growing unit of the university, and I'm happy for it. Ang aking pong roadmap, my third point, is the value of an academic institution being the hub. As a university and academic institution, we hone, we develop the resources, the human resources, the quality of human resources, which will be the central backbone of what the industry is, of what tourism, arts and culture, of what business is. Lahat po yan nakadepende sa kung anong klaseng human resources meron tayo. Which means that the university plays a crucial role here. And parang bibingka, there is potential at the top, yung sinabi kong territoriality and meso level. Pero yung bibingka may apoy sa ibaba. So I see UP, Pampanga, and Olongapo growing side by side until it creates a magical and a strong force to contend with, not only in the region but in the country. Pero continue na dapat mag-ambag ang universidad bilang isang akademikong unit. That is the best that we can do, and that is what we are known for best. But what is the quality of the university and the quality of UP, Pampanga, and Olongapo that I wish to say? We will begin from where we are. We will contribute to the growth and development. And I say, mind the gap. We have to fill in the gap. Let's level up as we fill in the gap. And what do we need to fill in? I see and I borrow and I also carry what the macro UP's envision is for this region. I share the vision for a Clark Green City. But I see that UP, Pampanga, and Olongapo are the only instruments and mechanisms of UP to create a UP Clark Green City. Hindi ko po hinihiwalay yung units dito sa pag-create ng vision of a Clark Green City. In that sense, we will have to develop a strong interdisciplinary academic program which will put more vibrancy to our students' learning, way of learning. Our students, challenge them to become more interactive, challenge them to be more critical, but challenge them to be more creative. Paano po yun? I see in the future the broad strokes of the academy to establish what we call 3 clusters. A School of Human Sciences, which puts together social sciences, humanities, and the health science, the well-being of people. Ikalawa, the School of Design and Environment, where the clusters put together under this school would be the management systems, including policy science, the services, infrastructure, engineering. And the School of Resource and Environmental Systems, which put together clusters of environment to become Region 3 to be sustainable and the resource use. Under each of this, or above each of this, we can build, which is easier to do, the professional masters. Ito po yung short courses, professional level, madaling nakakatapos, applied, practical, and our professionals should be trained because they are already in the front line of business and work. Do we spend for this? Yes, but we will also gain for the university. So, nagko-complement yung the usual academic program, but also the unconventional. But I will do it on 2 ways. Co-production is the key word. Co-production within UP. Co-production with former directors and senior faculty, the assistant professors and all faculty. Co-production with reps, staff, students. I have been a dean. I know how challenging it is to be, to listen, to allow people to join in. Co-production with alumni, and I think the outgoing administration has very well pointed. Co-production with Diliman, but also co-production because we are one whole university, and over here, unless, we touch base also with those at the system level. Co-production outside, meaning co-production with government agencies. On what has been started, that has to be pursued certainly with our provincial government, local government, national government. I have quite a lot of, co-production with the industry, with foundations. I think Dr. Grace has already mentioned quite a lot of this, and certainly this had to be for students. The way to be sustainable and to place ourselves in the map or modest scale, we have to work with and partner through joint degree programs, through joint professional master's program and certificate courses. I've been working now in my present capacity in the university to connect with universities as a network in Taiwan, in Singapore, and all else. I think my specialization is convergence and to connect and to create more synergy among groups, among people, because my program that I work on in the university is a UN program, and I'm considered as an associate fellow of the United Nations Institute for Training and Research. May dichotomy po ba dun sa UN at saka being local? No. UN itself says synergize, converge, because the essence of human well-being, of development and growth is that we don't leave anyone behind, which is at the core of our sustainability. I am part of International Philippine American Academy of Scientists and Engineers, and this is a good group, mga Pinoy na nasa US, mga alumni ng UP na prominente ang posisyon sa American universities and in the industries. And as we speak now, my colleagues in PAAS, they are meeting in Manila to say what is it that we can offer Philippines. Mahal namin ang Pilipinas, gusto namin to. I can imagine all of them are just waiting to land on a specific level. And I hope that Pampanga, Olongapo, and UP Central Luzon and an area of growth for Filipinos and Philippine American scientists and engineers, 90% of whom are UP alumni. I'm due for almost retiring, but I have the energy that defines the enthusiasm and the meaning and care sense is always of public service, of public administration. My love for my Catholic University. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation, Dr. Paul. I'm sure you already have questions in mind, some clarifications from Dr. Paul's presentation. At this point, please reserve them in the moment. Our open forum will be later after all the nominees have already presented their visions and strategic plans for the next 3 years. Okay, at this point, the next presenter is Dr. Patrick Delema.
Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Ako naman ang maglalahad ng aking mga plano para sa ating pamamahay natin unit. My action plans for our unit, UPDEPP and UPDEPP, in 3 themes, broad themes. No? People, processes, and physical capital, 3 P's. No? Next slide, please. But before I go to the details of my action plans, let me revisit the vision and mission of the unit, which I helped formulate last year. No? Our vision is for UPDEPP and UPDEPP for social, economic, and environmental sustainability in Central Luzon and beyond by the year 2022. The mission, on the other hand, is to serve the people and institutions of Central Luzon in the areas of construction, research, and extension. Next slide, please. Let me go directly to my first agenda, which is people. Dahil sila yung greatest resource ng any organization. No? At unang elemento ng aking people agenda ay faculty. Staff. No? Staff development. Okay. Staff development. We will build the capabilities of our staff by sending them to training, seminars, meetings, and conferences. By recommending them to graduate programs such as to our very own Master of Management program, by encouraging them to take civil service and career service examinations, and by giving them assignments, responsibilities, and honoraria that are commensurate to their qualifications. No? Inuna ko po yung kasama natin araw-araw nagsiservisyo sa mga estudyante at faculty at napansin ko lang na minsan sila, no? So, kailangan unahin naman natin sila. Second, next slide please. Second point, faculty development. We will boost the profile of our faculty by recommending them to postgraduate doctorate aligned with the academic thrust of the unit. No? And we will rationalize their teaching and administrative loads to enable them to conduct research and extension activities kasi may push the faculty to publish. No? Para sa kanilang promotion, kung di, alam niyo po ba na doon sa nakarang IAS, yung Internal Academic Assessment 2018, sad reality ng unit natin, no? Units within our CU, within UPDEPP. The CUs across the UP system, we rank only 144th. Ang lyric, no? Isa rin po ako sa may article din po ako dyan sa issue. Next slide. Who excel in teaching, research, and extension. Medyo kulang tayo sa pagbibigay ng top sa balikan ng mga faculty. The non-tenured faculty to gain the requirements for tenure. Next slide, please. Still on policy implementation. Gagawin din natin sa partners in governance. Lagi natin silang pukonsultuhin pati sa kasama natin ang student council ng mga estudyante na nag-conduct ng MM orientation at ng CRS orientation sa UP Olongapo at dito sa UP Clark. We will also allow them to continue receiving donations during MM registrations kasi po alam nyo, ang daming magagandang proyekto na naka-line up ang student councils pero wala po sila kasing pondo, wala nang na-implement yung Free Tuition Act. No? So, during registrations, hayaan natin sila mamuha ng donations. We will also support their entrepreneurial projects such as the sale of lanyards and printing services. No? And we will carefully consider their other project proposals. We will hone their leadership skills by sending them to student summits. Katulad nung in-attend nila Rice, nila MJ, ating mga MM representatives dito at sa Subic. Kasi nireactivate na rin natin yung student council sa Olongapo. Meron na rin silang dalawang representatives doon. So, sinend natin sila sa UP Iloilo at sa UP Cebu. Maasahan niyo po na kung ako susunod na director ay susuportahan ko yung ganyang mga student summit. Next, please. We will recommend our students to internship programs here and abroad through the Office of Field Activities. Sila po yung nag-ahandle niyan. We will also recommend them to exchange programs through the Office of Institutional Linkages. May mga offices naman po responsible for this. Kailangan lang natin sundan yan. No? We will give them experiential learning through academic field activities. Hindi kasi pwedeng nasa four corners of the classroom na kayo eh. I'm addressing the students. And we will carefully consider projects that they propose. Next, please. Okay, the second agenda, processes. No? Unang elemento ng processes yung we will try to attain efficiency, economy, and effectiveness, or the 3 E's in daily operations by adopting quality improvement projects or quality assessment instruments such as the 5S, TQM, Citizens Charter, and ISO 9001. We will benchmark with the earlier adopters of this, such as yung CLSU and yung NEUST. Nag-ikot po ko sa mga karating state university colleges natin kamakailan na as part of my PhD incentive award. And hopefully in the longer term, I hope we can achieve ISO 9001-2015 certification. Next, please. Another important element of the process is good financial management. I hope we can achieve good financial management by carefully planning, budgeting, and monitoring current sources and uses of funds, and exploring and tapping new sources of funds. Bakit po good financial management? Sa araw-araw na ino-entrust yung paghihirap ng mga kasama natin sa admin, wala tayong pera. So, sa kaalaman nyo lang po, no? Yung share ng UPDEPP sa MOE na galing sa DTM, 230,000 pesos lang yan in a year. as of yesterday, chinek yung balance niyan. 908 pesos and 56 centavos na lang yung natitirang pera. Paano tayo? Gusto rin naman natin yung mga grand plans, pero ito yung current realities on the ground. Yung ating balance ng mga trust account natin, yan, yung sa graduate tuition fee increment, nasa 3.5 na lang yan. Graduate program trust account, nasa 330,000. Yung 20% share natin ng undergraduate tuition fee trust account, paubos na rin, 50,000. Kasi syempre, free tuition na wala tayong nakukulit sa undergrad. Next, please. Yan naman yung mga expenses na charge natin sa different trust accounts, no? 3.7 dun sa GPFIs for personal services, 1.5 MOOE, equipment outlay 6.7, 6 million sa capital outlays. Next, please. Kailangan na rin natin pa-increasean yung ating subsidy from the provincial government. Kasi binibigyan nila tayo ng 1.5 in a year. Pero kahit anong pagtitipid ang gawin natin, lagi tayong nag-i-exceed. Siguro kailangan na natin ng around 600,000 increase, no? Para sumapat yung subsidy for our utilities. Next, please. Still part of good financial management sa tulong ng admin, we will consistently ensure the completeness and regularity of the vouchers and other financial documents na hindi siya pabalik-balik sa accounting dito, no? And we will also reduce costs and eliminate waste in all aspects of operations. Ginagawa na po natin ito, nag-reuse, reduce, and recycle na tayo. Meron tayong mga PET bottle bins dyan sa admin, nire-recycle yung paper. At sana, plano ko din na ibalik na lang sa PTHS yung biyahe ng van natin para hindi na natin masyado kasing mahal yung gas and toll, no? Yung mga demand-based pa ako, sana mag-cooperate po tayo dito. Malaki po yung matitipid natin. Next po. Still on processes, ito po yung proseso na hindi pa rin tapos, no? We will revise and update our undergraduate and graduate programs with the help of the program coordinators, no? Sila Sir Jerry, sila Ma'am Eunice, at si Ma'am Christy. Sana makuha natin yung recommendation ng UC dyan at saka approval ng DOR. No? Next, please. The third element of my 3Ps agenda, yung physical capital. We will try to sustain our physical infrastructure by seeking funding for the proposed dormitory, the proposition, which costs 60.5 million. Auditorium, dito naman po siya, worth 51.4 million. At yung second academic building, worth 150 million. Primarily, I sought the advice of NEDA Region 3. Ang maganda daw gawin is, pag may architectural plans at budgetary estimate, mag-seek tayo ng funding from the CHED NCR. Anyway, bakit CHED NCR? Kasi mas mabilis daw doon. Anyway, we are at the demand unit. We will also lobby for a greater share of capital outlay from the UP system and UPDEPP. Next, please. Paano rin natin sustain yung infrastructure by closely coordinating with the OCA and the other offices under OVCA. No? We will closely monitor the progress of our construction projects. Currently, we have two. Yung site development or 35 million. Kasama dyan, nakabundle dyan yung electrical upgrade ito building para magamit yung mga air conditioners. And then the renovation at electrical upgrade din ng classroom building doon sa likod ng Pure Gold. 5.1 million. Ang approved budget po natin dito sa site there is 40 million. Pero ang winning bid ay 35, so may savings tayo around 5. Sana payagan tayo gamitin yun as variation order para makabili ng cistern tank, jockey pumps, at saka generator para naman hindi lang props yung fire suppression system natin, no? Saka yung CCTV na nag-require for our security. And we will also sustain by not tolerating any slippage and irregularity. Kung paano po yung pagsubaybay ko sa pagtatayo ng building na ito mula sa talahibad, sa pagkukay hanggang matapos, personal ko po yung sinubaybayan kasi po yung building committee chair. Ganun din po yung pagsubaybay ko doon sa mga susunod pa na infra projects. Next, please. Ayan, mapalan tayo. Pinagpigyan tayo ng Office of the Campus Architect. Na-request ako na, bigyan nyo na kami ng plano para sa dorm, tsaka budgetary estimate para maka-request kami ng fund. Yun, 60.5 million, na-receive ko lang ito mga 2 weeks ago. Ito po ay pinattern sa Centennial Dormitory ng UPDEPP. Next please. Yan po yung mga architectural plans, no? 3 floors, marami na tayong estudyante ma-house dyan. Next please. At syempre, yung auditorium, yan talaga, pa-prioritize ko yan. Swerte rin tayo, pinipigyan tayo ng OCA, gumawa sila agad ng plano, which is patterned after the School of Statistics Auditorium. It will cost 51.4 million. Ang maganda kasi dito sa auditorium, makakasave na tayo, every recognition rights din na tayo re-renta ng 200 to 300,000 sa Palacio Royal or sa San Fernando. Tapos magiging income generating dito. Sa auditorium din natin pwede i-house yung mga centers na pilano ng matagal ni Ma'am Hamon. Ma'am, i-integrate ko po yung mga plans nyo, ay yung mga programs nyo sa aking 3-piece agenda. Next please. Yun lamang po kasi 3 taon lang ang term ng direktor. So ang nilagay ko lang po dito yung kaya kong gawin sa tulong yung lahat. Maraming salamat.
Someone who has been at the forefront of activities in UPDEPP and UPDEPP to understand its ethos, which is what it takes to administratively run such a unit of UPDEPP. One who has built up the social capital needed to inspire students, faculty, staff, to work aggressively and fully motivated. It takes someone who will not face a steep learning curve on all fronts, to work hard and always with integrity. Someone who has no record of being a captive of vested interest. And overall, to do her best for Pampanga, Central Luzon, and the Philippines. This is me, and I am ready to hit the ground running. Ako po Lourdes Tanmeco Nepomuceno, Gibayin and Maribel Getty Angeles, Pampanga, ating pong asawa po at mga anak, programs named UP Diliman Extension Program in Pampanga, Clark Campus, and Olongapo Campus. This is my team toward a UP Central Luzon. Central Luzon remained one of the core regions, contributing significantly in the overall growth of the country as fueled by emerging cities and special economic zone. And UPDEPP is in the heart of two Freeport Zone, Clark, and Subic. My vision is rooted on our heritage, which is not just Kapampangan, but of Central Luzon, which has Tagalogs, Ilocanos, and indigenous peoples. As an area that has always been important economically, Central Luzon allowed Manila to grow because it was the rice granary, the main source of food. History of patriotism and nationalism, the peasant movements in the 50s, culture, artisans in carpentry, culinary music, traditional script, rich literary traditions including poet laureates. Creative industries given Central Luzon's wealth of artists and artisans, rich in natural resources. Central Luzon has it all. UPDEPP has played an important role in developing Central Luzon. The catalyst for the development of UPDEPP to UP Central Luzon is, of course, Clark, the new Clark City, poised to be the biggest plant metropolis in the Philippines. Recognizing Clark and Subic both as occupations by a foreign power, but also its own contributions, UP Pampanga, after all, started out by offering associate arts degrees to U.S. military personnel. My vision, as an extension unit of UP Diliman, UPDEPP will keep on its foothold as a leading higher education institution in Central Luzon. UPDEPP will provide an education that is excellence-driven and learner-centered to accelerate the personal and professional development of its learners and continuously innovate itself to better serve its stakeholders. UPDEPP will evolve into a college carving out a niche in the Center for Central Luzon Studies and establish new interdisciplinary research programs committed to contribute and make an impact on a local history scholarship, its relevance and meaning, as well as to keep track of the emerging development in Central Luzon. My mission, responding to the emerging Central Luzon trends, UPDEPP will provide opportunities for the discovery and development of its human resources, where students learn, engage, and achieve their potential, faculty create motivating learning environment to achieve quality learning outcomes, administrators and staff ensure an enabling and supportive environment for effective learning to happen, and stakeholders invest in the welfare and success of UPDEPP. My core values: honor, excellence, and equity. This is my framework. I have sketched a map which presents where my 3-year journey will lead us. We are up to the challenge of making the use of our institutional compass in charting our path to meet our goals. The 3 strategic directions I will focus on will align on my short-term objectives with long-term goals and a mission that defines UPDEPP. Big picture adherence to my vision are academics, governance, and development, which are strategically aligned, agile, and sustainable. I also have targets, okay? Now this is the first strategic direction, academics. So I included academic programs, students, faculty, research agenda, instructional technology and learning, and academic divisions. Academic programs. So because I have a lot, so I'll just discuss. Strategic decision: offer more innovative and socially responsive curricular programs with a Doctor of Philosophy in Educational Management, and then in partnership with the Asian Institute of Tourism, offer graduate diploma in tourism management and science programs, but will set out on its own to be cutting edge. For example, at least minimize academic failures. What are my targets? Interventions will be to address the problem of low student achievement and to enhance comprehensive examination orientation, the high and professional and competent faculty. Faculty, my strategic research and technical competence and target is to sign up in the teaching effective course of additional funds from outside industries or large funding agencies like ADB, instructional technology and learning, a variety of technology-supported learning environments and facilitated learning environments in their areas. Prioritize tie-up with UPDEPP colleges and UP constituents and succeed. Okay? Included here is UPDEPP internationalization, one that is not but one where we use the best of the international. I mentioned earlier, as the Confucius Institute director, I extended started with Angeles, Patricia Licuanan, and Popoy de National Airport with PCDA City in areas of human resources development and to reach just and inclusive UPDEPP anchored on good governance at all levels and on a transparent, effective, and accountable unit. Alumni targets enhance localization. This is the Center for Now promotes awareness and interest. Plan programs for faculty and students from the zone. Mother matters. I represent of the Philippines demand for nurturing the State Department to incorporate to higher education institutions. And 23 years and 12 trimesters, I still continuously effectiveness. So is and I connect management students headed across Pampanga, Central.
And then we heard Dr. Patrick De Leon and in a way something go personal.
So, you win as director, if you happen to be appointed as director, please FY in 2015, BPM, and I think to talk
ko ang faculty. At meron po ako mag-graduate faculty, dapat po ang master's 50%. Senior, kukuha ko ng funding outside you. Possible to give, kasi
maaari ba tayo magbigay ng papel? Pwede ba tayo magpatulong sa student council? Sa ating marami.
ako po, the director. And then my capacity.
much of the work of UN is not, much of our work is conducted digitally with the CPAL network as necessary. We conduct capacity building by be connected with other functions and groups. I have come phase from national government management. So, I think, I know what I
nominees as future directors.
sa Johns Hopkins University.
Ako ang Best Actress Award. Lagi akong supporting role eh. So I've always been, whatever and with what manner, nasaan yung enthusiasm, yung puso mo, in the years of your life. Yun po yun. Ako on Saturday lang kasi ang classes. But there are many ways. So I think if my former gets the program for that.
As an educator, it is easier for me because of my experience.
Yung pagpapahusay sa pag-inulos ng effort and approach, we have that naman in UP. Kaya lang yung set, no offense meant to our students, we can use different methods of teaching. And I think we should put that at the center.
I'll just speak to the question. Ang question niya, ano ang gagawin din sa faculty na pumapagsasabi? As I said, two or below two to other trainings, aside from
Nakikinig ang former director. Itong Batangas, faculty.
hindi sila nag-qualify doon sa ibang UP campus na bukas. Kasi may opportunity cost yung
Tapos, babasahin na lang nila issue na relate.
What can you suggest as a solution to travel to?
Kung ang schedule nila, kamukha ng schedule ko sa Pilipinas. So,
Again, I will answer the question yung ganong requirement.
Pero dun sa question ko ba ay about hindi tayo makakasagot nun kasi chat ang that can be thought out by the on how to provide I think attendance sa Pilipinas. Medyo may iba ka rin campus and we're one UP. So,
That is for the
kanina, I mentioned that we will have a mechanism ang mga estudyante. Kung sa mga connection ko, kahit na
okay. Kung ilagay mo sa listahan ng mga sasamihin sa chat, so sige din po namin sa chat, additional gastos. So baka kailangan i-take note kung sino man po ang magiging director. Okay, anyway, balik po tayo sa talakaya. Ayan.
ako si Celia Sanguilo, faculty member. How nice of you in the data. So recognize that the can do a lot of work for the unit, even outside of the four walls, not really technically four walls, but outside of our institution. But your presence has also been how hands-on functions of the unit.
Pwede na supportahan si Ma'am.
Papas na ako sa tanong na to dahil alam ng lahat dito na mula Lunes kahit
I have never been an absent person, but there are different ways to be hands-on. You also encourage people. You should belong to them, and I think that's part of a team function.
or
And then what can deliver the magpapairalin, rule of law, or human understanding, or Filipino culture.
Comprehensive exam.